joined by the head football coach at Georgia State, Shawn Elliott. Coach, how we doing today, man?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. I think it hit 70 degrees today in Atlanta, and we're in the middle of spring practice. And I love practicing when the sun's out in the 70. Even more so, I love after practice when the sun's out in the 70.
Hey, there's nothing wrong. Everybody complains, about being on turf all the time in the summertime, but nobody complains about this time of year because it feels great when that sunshine hits the turf this time of year.
Listen, I'm a sunshine guy, so anytime that sun's out, I don't really care. I mean, I want to be outside in it. So
Love
turf,
it.
field, grass, it doesn't matter, dirt, then I'll be in the sun.
You have been a heavily requested guest, by the way.
Uh-oh.
I've had like 19 coaches tell me you got to get Shawn Elliott on. You got to get Shawn Elliott on. You got to get Shawn Elliott on.
Well,
So we'll talk about it here in a little bit. But when I came and visited with your staff a few weeks ago, I made sure I wasn't going to leave there without you agreeing to come on the podcast.
well, we have that discount now, right? Did we negotiate that?
Was that
It
hey, the
it was either
NCAA listens? You got to be we got to keep it on low low. The NCAA
discount
listens.
dinner, cold beer, which one? I don't know. We'll get into that
We'll get it
off
worked
camera.
out.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump into this thing. I was sitting here and I didn't really realize this. You have been a part of ripping my heart out many times over my career, and I didn't even really realize the extent of. But in 2000, I'm at Troy in 2000. I'm a young buck. I was actually
Uh-oh.
supposed to be finishing my last year playing, got hurt preseason. That's how I got into coaching. I've told that
Yeah.
story here before, but so it's the end of my first year as being a GA student assistant, and you're at App State in the playoffs. We're playing at home. We're rolling. I think we're the number one team in the country going into the end of the playoffs. And we had just to give the fans a little background, y'all were kicking our teeth in, and we came
Came
roaring
back.
back
Yeah.
and took the lead. And then y'all hadn't done anything really in the second half on offense. And then you ripped my heart out with the wheel route down the sideline. Do you remember that?
I remembered. I can't even believe you were on that staff. Was Wayne Bolt the defensive coordinator?
Because Wayne Bolt was the defensive coordinator.
Wayne Bolt was the defensive coordinator. I remember, back in that day and time, the one AA playoffs had a reception for the coaches the night before. And we all went, our staff and y'all staff. I don't know if you went or not, but
I was probably
I just
driving.
remember looking over and seeing Wayne Bolt and one of our defensive coaches, and there was about 19,000 beer cans right there in front of him. And I looked at one of our other guys and I said, I don't know how this is going to end tomorrow, but those two guys right there, I don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, no, I remember it. I even remember the name of the call. It was right trips tight. It was 446, S trail left. And S was our tailback. And we were in 12 personnel. And we pushed our tight end up, actually, and he ran a little skinny post across your corner on the backside bit, and that doggone wheel route spit wide open.
Yep, I remember. I was on the sideline, and I remember when the receiver stuck his foot in the ground, and our corner Reed Trayvon, he just
Yeah,
takes off running. I was like, it was one of those that you saw it happening. And I didn't want to look. I just kind of
yeah.
dipped my head and was like,
Oh
oh
yeah,
boy,
that
just
was a
please
great one.
don't
That was
catch
a
it.
great game.
It
That was
was
a
a great
great
game.
game. I
That
believe
was
the day before it rained like 7 inches. It was a monsoon that day. The day before.
It didn't rain enough. I wish it rained some more. We could have slowed him down just a half a
Well, I'm
step. But
sorry about ripping your heart out, man.
oh, I got that was one. Okay. That was
Yeah.
one. The second one, so my 14-year-old son, Brock, he reminded me, and I'd forgotten all about it. I mean, I knew that we played the game, but I forgot the connection.
Uh-huh.
He asked me yesterday, coming home from baseball practice, he said, who's going to be on the podcast this week? And I said, Shawn Elliott. He goes, that's the head coach at Georgia State, right? And I said, it is. He goes, wasn't he the head coach when we went up there a couple of years ago? I said, he was. And he goes, make sure you tell Coach Elliott, thank you for crushing me on my 10th birthday. And I started laughing. And I remembered. So Joey Jones, one of the greatest guys
Yeah.
in the business, and he was very nice to allow me to do this. But my son's 10th birthday, we played on a Thursday night at Turner Field at your stadium. Okay, it was the first year y'all had the stadium in there, had
Yeah.
the football stadium in there. And he allowed me to bring my son on the road, for his birthday. He rode with me. We were going recruiting, the next day or
Yeah.
whatever. And he was all excited about it. And then we went up there and got our teeth kicked in. So
God.
He wasn't too excited after that, but he told me to tell you thank you as well.
Man, I tell him I really do apologize. I'll send him some money or something here
Kind of,
shortly.
not really, right? Like, kind of, not really.
Hey, that was that game that night. I believe we had I think we intercepted your first pass, and there was kind of something. There was a personal foul after that interception. And the first time I'd ever heard this in my entire life, but one of those, these officials, you can't speak, whatever, you can't speak about them. So
yeah, don't get fined on the podcast.
The guy walks over to me, says, "Coach, we're going to give everybody on your team a personal foul." I said, "What the are you talking about?" He said, we're going to stop this from the start. I said, "Stop what? The guy just hit us late." What? I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about, man?" And he goes, "Yep, everyone." And I was like, "Oh my!" I never in my life, come across that. But man, I apologize to your son.
That's all right. He'll be okay. He didn't. He was just kind of semi-teasing. But hey, I want to talk about. I always I tell people all the time. I love having good people, and I like surrounding myself with good people and knowing good people. And I remember this story. I just didn't put it together until it was you. Until like last weekend, I was actually talking to Brian, one of your assistants. But you were awarded the NCAA Award of Valor in 2000, and that's only been given like 7 times or something crazy in the history of the NCAA. But for saving people from a burning van, can you kind of share that story?
Well, it's crazy. That was the season 2000. That was really a remarkable story. We had just got finished playing East Tennessee State University, and they were just across the mountain from Appalachian State, so about an hour and 20 minutes. And we had played a night game. We had won, and we were coming back across the mountain, and there's an old road that leads back into Boone, Highway 105. And so it was 2 buses and a van, and the van basically was leading the buses. It was our athletic training staff, student assistants, managers. I believe I think it was a 15-passenger van. I think it was packed.
Right.
And they were all in there. And I can remember it really, really clearly. And this is one of those things that it never leaves you. But as we took a left on 105, we actually came to a stoplight, and it was going to turn red, but it was yellow. So the van went on through, and the red light caught the buses. So as the van turned left, of course, we lost sight of them. It turns green. We take the left. We come up 105, and as we're coming into Fosco, North Carolina. It's about 15 miles outside of Boone, and we come around this sharp curve, and we're coming right into the little town right there, and huge fire. Just when I say huge fire, it's one of those things. It's a movie. It's what you've seen. Immediately, I sit on the right side of the bus in the front seat. Stacy Searles sat on the left side in the front seat, and Rob Best sat behind me. Rob was our offense coordinator. Searles was our O-line coach, and I was the tight end guy. And the offensive bus was ahead of the defense. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, "That's our van." I immediately recognized our van. What had happened was a drunk driver coming around a curve, crossed the double yellow line and hit our van head on. When I say head on, he's squarely, I can't imagine. He's probably run 60, 70, hit it square on. Immediately we stopped the bus. And here's one of those things that I always say, you either got it or you don't, because you're either going to make that movement to go get into it, or you're going to sit back and watch it happen. We didn't hesitate. Myself, Stacy Searles, Rob Best, we immediately jump off the bus, and we immediately get to the van. We get that door, the sliding door, just as everybody sees. Rip that thing open as best we can. Get those kids out. Keep in mind now, and our team was back helping, but us 3 individuals went in the van. And when I say went in the van, the van is burning up. The drunk driver in the other car, there was no saving him. He is in the car. Just he burned up in an instant. So we're in there, and we get most of them out. The driver and one of our student assistants that actually worked with us on the offensive side of the ball are real critically injured. We climb in there. When I say the dashboard is bubbling, that's how hot it is. The driver is stuck in the driver's side. We break the seat down. Somehow, some way, we remove the seat belt and pull these guys out. And it was one of those things. Had we kind of sat there and watched, those guys would have, who knows, really what would have happened. But we got in there very, very quickly, and it's one of those things you don't think about, you just react. And it's amazing. Everyone, for the most part, healed. There was a couple individuals in that van that it took several months, if not years, and still to this day have some lingering effects. But yeah, we were awarded the NCAA Award of Valor, which was kind of special. I mean, it is special.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably that's the best. That's the best award in my opinion. I know you are very quickly collecting trophies at Georgia State right now, but that has to be, as a human being, that's got to be the top one you'll ever get. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it really is. It sits right on my table in my office, and I have a letter that I can remember they read it. It was actually an ESPN broadcast, and we were up on the stage, and one of the young men that we saved his life, I guess, that took a long time to recover, had written a letter, just thanking us, and his name was Jonathan Taylor. It's amazing. I can see it so vividly right now, and I can feel it. It's something you'll never forget. But I want to change it. I'd go right back in that van today if it were to happen tonight.
Yeah, man, no doubt. I think that was, I read that, and I remember the story. I didn't know you at the time, but I remember reading the story, and was just like, the selflessness, because you could have, it could have got you too, and this the selflessness that it takes, and just as that's awesome. I mean, I know you've probably been told that 1,000 times in the last 22 years, but I just think, I think that's just big time awesome.
I appreciate it.
All right, so let's switch gears a little bit. In 2015, you were named the interim head coach. I remember this as well. When you got named the interim head coach halfway through the season at South Carolina. What's a few things here? What's like? Did you have any idea that was coming, or did you kind of get hit by a surprise with being named the interim right in the middle of the year?
Well, I got hit by a surprise by Coach Spurrier resigning during the course of the year. I guess it was following our sixth game. So that was I use the term gut punch. Here you are, you're coaching, and you think you're getting ready for a new opponent, and you're getting ready for a new. I don't know. I really don't know what was coming. That was shocking. Once I kind of got over the shock, we met with the athletics director, Ray Tanner, that evening. All of us coaches, assistant coaches, after Coach Spurrier came in and told us what he had decided to do. And I immediately thought, that's me. That I have no doubt. Coach Tanner at that time was AD, or still is AD, and I remember telling him, I was like, that's my job. You don't need to look for anyone else. And they talked with a couple assistant coaches at that time, and it was kind of bittersweet when I say that, because I get home, I stayed up there until about 10:30. I don't know, 10:45. I hadn't really spoken to my wife. News was out. Of course, when you have a wife in that situation, she's thinking, we're fired. Right. And I was too.
Yeah.
Said we get 6 games to finish this thing out, and then we're all cut loose. So I get home that night, and I told her, hey, there's a chance I'll be named interim head coach. And so I think it was about 12:04. She's crying. I'm up, and Ray Tanner gives me a call, and he says, we're going to name you the interim head coach. And at that time, when I'd already had a miserable night. But at that time, I mean, when I say miserable, I mean, you got 2 kids, they're young. You got your wife, she's distraught. You don't know what your future holds. And they just tell you you're going to be the head coach of the University of South Carolina. And this wasn't just for a game. This was
you had some time.
About 8 weeks. So, I was really thrilled to death. It was shocking, but I knew as soon as it happened that I could be that guy. I could lead the University of South Carolina, and I was prepared to do it. And it didn't work out quite like I had hoped for. We played really well, and man, we came really close in a lot of those games. We played. I think Texas A&M was a top 15 team. Kyler Murray was a quarterback. We lose by 7 at A&M. We fumble on the 15-yard line going in to beat Tennessee with about 30 seconds to go. Lose to Tennessee. We play Florida to I think a 7-point game at home, and one of the things you got to understand when you get into a situation like that, no one's ever trained you. No one's ever put you in a position to try to figure out what to do. The number one thing was to keep the spirits of the players up. You
Right.
had to make sure they weren't just gonna, bail out, just leave out and not finish this thing the right way. We were competitive. I did a lot of things that, we that were different. We tackled. We did a lot of things like that. And when I say tackled, that was some of the things that Coach Spurrier liked to do all that much. But we were going to get back to playing football.
There you go.
And we did, and we played really, really close. And it was the third close loss to Florida, and I could just see it all. But they'd given everything they had. We beat Vanderbilt my first game, and the next three were. We easily could have won and been sitting there 4-0, and we go and we play the Citadel. And I can remember trying to get across to our players in that locker room because I knew they were flat, and they didn't just had that look. And the Citadel beat us. We actually threw a touchdown pass to go ahead and win the game, and we had a tight end that false started. And then the following week we played the number 1 ranked Clemson Tigers to win them 5 points. So, I won my first one. I lost 4 by, 28 points, and then lost to the Citadel by, I think, 6. So I didn't fare too well, 1-5. And then I thought they were going to kick my butt out of Columbia after that one. But, that was a hard. It was a really tough situation, but I had the best time of my life coaching those guys. I really did.
Yeah, that was the thing is when I kept, obviously kept up with it and everything, and you could immediately see how hard they played for you and how competitive they were, and then that's why I love watching you guys play now on TV. Every time I can get you on TV, I'm tuned in because I love the way your guys compete. I love the way they're physical, they never quit, and that's just refreshing from a coaching standpoint. That's fun to watch. That's fun ball to watch when they compete and get after physically. So
it's fun to coach like that.
Ain't no doubt.
I coach just like that. People think I'm a little bit nuts because I'm so, I guess, out of control, but in control to some degree on that side.
There's nothing wrong with that. I may or may not have been accused of that before myself.
Yeah,
There's
but it's not in the head coach manual that you coach that hard.
You get one of those? They pass those out? Is it like the Book of Secrets?
Everybody's got the head coaching manual. Hey, you're supposed to be the calm guy over there on the sideline, analyzing all that stuff. I'm like, that's not me. That's not me. So I took that manual and I burned it really, really quickly.
All right. Now I got to preface this. Okay. This did not come from me. Okay. This question may or may not have, I don't know. It just could have come from somebody on your staff that they want. All right. So just don't shoot the messenger here. Okay.
Okay.
All right. When you were a red shirt at App State, what happened to you in Myrtle Beach?
Oh, jeez. Well, that's
I have no idea what just so you know, I have no idea what this response is going to be. I'm just telling you, it came from somebody on your staff.
Well, let me just tell you this: I've lived a crazy life. You may want to do 2 podcasts with me because what I'm going to tell you, it may have its own podcast. So it's my junior year at Appalachian State. Okay. Played my freshman year, played my sophomore year, and I had a knee injury during the season, and that really doesn't have anything to do with this story. But the following summer, and this was really before everybody stayed up in the summer, and and lifted and just didn't go home. You know, there wasn't summer school or anything like that. We all showed up in August, and hell, we started playing again. But I moved to Myrtle Beach. I moved to Myrtle Beach with 3 of my friends, and I worked on Spring Maid Resort, and I worked on the pier and in the snack bar.
All right.
So one night, you know, it's Myrtle Beach. You know, I'm from South Carolina. I'm Myrtle Beach. Boy, I'm Myrtle Beach all the way. You know, we get off work. I got off work probably about, I don't know, I think the snack bar closed at 10:30 on pier. Of course, you know, summer we're going out. You know, we're hitting the strip. We're going to one of these clubs or something. So it was about 2 a.m, and we were coming back, me and my buddy. My buddy sitting in the passenger seat. I'm driving at this point a blue Pathfinder, and we're coming back. We're on Ocean Drive, Ocean Boulevard. I mean, the ocean's to the left, and you know, hotels are everywhere. And so we're coming up, and at that time, most of the Ocean Boulevard was 2 lanes, and there was a car, you know, just stopped in the road right there. It was a gray 300ZX, and so I'm coming up behind it, and he's not moving, you know. So I blow the horn, go around the car, and my buddy, he's like, "Hey, get the hell out of the road," you know. You know, one of those things.
Yeah, one of them.
So I pull back in. I look in my rearview mirror. Look at my buddy. I said, "Uh-oh." I said, "Here they come." And he's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "You know, we got something's fixing to go down here." Like I said, keep in mind, it's a gray 300ZX. It got nice T-tops have been taken out and all this stuff. Well, we come up 4 lanes. I go into the left lane. This car goes into the right lane. As you can see, I'm anticipating the car pulling up beside us, you know, probably going to yell at us, flip us off or something like that back in the day. Wanting to fight, you know, who knows. And the passenger guy raises up out of the car. The T-tops has that one rail right there, you know, of the ceiling, and lays a little automatic machine gun on top of the car and sprays my car. When I say sprays my car, you could count 17, 18 bullet holes.
You gotta be kidding me.
Oh no. Through the course of my car, shot my friend in the passenger seat. And keep in mind, I see it. I jump and pull the car as far as I can to the left. My buddy, he's trying to get away, so he jumps on top of me, like, you know, jumps over towards me. I have no idea to this day why I'm sitting here. You know, I've been through a lot. I've done a lot of crazy stuff, but he gets shot right in the thigh, and I promise you, he shielded me from getting shot. He starts screaming.
Oh, I mean, rightfully so.
Oh yeah, I mean, I pull the car so hard, I about run into the hotels. I about run over people on the sidewalks, and I just remember that car taking off after I could get back and see what happened. And we were right there at the pavilion, so there's roller coasters, everything, lights, and I remember I floor it, and I try to get to wherever I can, you know. And so I get to this Exxon station up on a corner. I run in there. My buddy's screaming. I run. I mean, I don't even think twice. I jump over the counter, and the guy thinks I'm robbing him. I'm trying to grab a phone to call 911. He's trying to grab me, and I'm telling him I'm calling 911. I call 911. Long story short, my buddy ends up being okay. He just gets shot through the leg, you know. And we come to find out that as they were stopped, they were talking to this young lady. They end up doing, you know, they were doing some things they shouldn't have been doing. But earlier in the day, they had shot a young man in the back that was walking down the street. And so those 2 individuals are still in jail now for murder.
Golly. They probably got an attempted murder charge on you, didn't they?
Well, yeah. We didn't have to really go into all that because of, you know, the charges prior. But they caught them, and their girlfriend, the girl that they were talking to, turned them in about, I don't know, about 4 or 5 months later. And just crazy. So needless to say, I was about 2 a.m. I called my dad at 8 o'clock, and I said, "Hey, I'm coming home." I packed up my stuff. I moved out and left.
So you've never told that story that nothing good ever happens after midnight. You've never said that before, have you?
Well, I've been out after midnight. There's a few good things.
Yeah, I've tried to give my kids some. I tried to give my kids a speech about some stuff like that. They're getting
Yeah.
older, and my wife had to remind me, like, hey,
I do tell them this. I say, listen, you don't say anything to anybody in a car. You don't
no,
blow your
yeah,
horn. Yeah, I say you just go around and you sit there patiently. But I learned my lesson. I'll sit there for an hour before I blow a horn at anybody.
yeah. I don't even know how we topped that. I mean, you just got shot up. 17 shots in the car.
That was what you could count. They shot my windows out too. Now they shot my back
What
window
kind of
out.
gun was it? You didn't know?
I couldn't tell you. I can picture it,
Jeez, man, Christmas,
but
man.
I know one thing. It went, you know, I mean,
Yeah,
right up and down. It was
golly,
over in 5 seconds.
that's insane. That's nuts. I don't even know how you transition off that. I'm not a professional enough podcaster to transition off that one. That's good.
I tell
I
you what,
mean,
I moved straight back. I went home and I said, "Hey, I'm going back to Boone. I'm going back to Boone
I'll
Lifting
see you
weights."
guys.
Yeah,
I'm heading back. I'm heading back. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this. I know you're a big Braves fan, all right?
yeah,
And I am a huge Braves fan as well. And I saw, it was awesome. You and I got to do it the first time ever. I grew up. I'm from Anniston, Alabama, which is right across the state line. So I grew up going to Braves games all the way back.
yeah.
Dale Murphy and Bob Horner and those guys.
Heck yeah,
But they were terrible when I was until I literally got to about, I think it was 90, 91, where it was,
yeah.
they started winning. So I was basically my son's age now when they started winning. So but I got a chance this year, and I know you got to do the same thing. Got a chance to take my son to the World Series. I took mine. I was wanting to come to Atlanta, but the prices were like insane. So how about this? You know how crazy the ticket prices were for those games.
Uh-huh.
I got two tickets, traveled, hotel, and everything for half the price as one ticket cost in Atlanta. We went to Houston, so I took my
Oh,
son to Houston to see this. I think we went to game two when they got beat. But how awesome was that to get to take your son to a World Series game?
listen, it was magnificent. We, I can't even remember. We played Louisiana on a Thursday night.
Yeah,
That week, I, I told my son, I mean, listen, I said the Braves are in the World Series. I get a chance to take you. We're going. Don't worry about it. I said Louisiana, they'll be all right. We'll figure them out. And I think it was a Sunday night, and I said we're going. But it was just awesome. I mean,
yeah,
like I said, I'm one of those guys that I love doing things that you just typically don't experience, and for whatever reason, that happens all the time during my life because I just make it happen. Uh, so there wasn't no way I was going to not take him to see that game, and it wouldn't have mattered if we were playing Louisiana on that Sunday night. I'd have probably still taken him to see that game because that's how important those moments are for me.
dude,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I mean, I'm the head football coach, but I remember telling those guys and staff, I was like, "I'm sorry, man. Well, I'm going." You know,
Yeah,
I'm
that's awesome.
not going to put our staff in jeopardy or our team, but those moments
You don't get
it's
them
just
back.
crazy. And I hope I wish more people were like that. I wish more coaches were like. They take this game and they turn it into something that it's really not. I mean, it's not that hard to go out and win. You got to surround yourself with good people, and you got to surround yourself with a good system. And once you get that system in place, everything is taking care of itself. And man, go spend it with your family when you can.
No,
Uh,
that's awesome because you know how it is in this business. I mean, I've been with some guys that are great family guys, and I've been with guys that haven't been. So I've kind of run the gamut with them. But it makes a difference, and it makes a difference for your staff too. When you're working for a head coach that's about family,
yeah,
it makes your life at home easier. And and you've noticed it too, but there's a huge push in our profession right now. People getting out of it because
yeah,
of with the new rules we'll talk about in a second, but some of the new rules that put in place that have really increased the time. It was already bad enough, but have increased it, and they just had enough. And but that's awesome, man.
yeah.
I'm actually happy for your staff. I mean,
Well, yeah, our staff's happy too now.
yeah, I bet they are.
I'm making, there. It's a point they better be with their family. I mean, they
That's
better be
awesome.
So that's just who I am. That's how it works.
All right, you spent a lot of time working with Coach Spurrier at South
Yeah.
Carolina. Was he the best golfer on the staff? Because I know
You
I've
know,
heard legendary stories about him playing golf. Was he the best golfer on the staff?
he was pretty doggone good. He would never let me actually play with him. He called me the group. When I went and played, I was in the F group. That was the not very good group. Uh, but yeah, he's a solid performer now. Him and Steve Jr. and G.A. Mangus, those guys, they'd go out and they compete. They compete. But Coach Burke can hit the golf ball. He can shoot anything he did. He was good at.
Coach, I have a very similar experience with that. So when I was on the staff here with Hugh, all right, Hugh was a big golfer. Okay,
Yeah.
and so Hugh, Matt Luke, Dan Werner, and John Miller, they were the A group. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
because they went out there. They were pretty much scratch golfers. Now Matt Luke's not a scratch golfer, but Matt, has a lot of birdies, like Eagle. He scores a lot.
Okay.
So I was only invited in the A group if it was a scramble format because I can hit it a long way. So that's the only time I was invited is if it was to the benefit of Hughes. So if we were in a scramble format or they're going to play something that required distance, I
Sure.
would get called up to the A group. If not, I was teeing off with the B group. So I'm with
Yeah.
you on that one. So
I was never called up.
yeah, it is what it is. Got a chance to visit. One thing I wanted to bring this up. I got a chance to visit with you and your staff a few weeks ago. I was just blown away because I grew up. We talked about it earlier. I grew up a Braves fan,
Mhm.
and I've been in Turner Field 1,000 times. And I got to see that first year, the stadium and things like
Yeah.
that. But you know how it is. You're coming in the visiting locker room. You're in and out and gone. I was blown away with how awesome y'all's facility is and what your university's done inside of Turner Field for somebody that's grown up and you've gone there and you got, the Olympics were there, right? So,
Mhm.
I mean, you had the Olympics there, the Braves played there for, I don't know how long, how many years, 20 years or so, 15,
Yeah.
20 years. Just what a great stadium. Do you ever like you're at practice? Okay. Do you like sit around? You ever had a moment when you're like thinking about all the athletes and great sports moments that's occurred in that stadium?
It's funny you say that because we all have that recruiting spiel or whatnot, but when guys come here on campus, when they come and visit, whether it's an official visit, an unofficial, a prospect day or whatnot, I walk them out there on that field, and I just tell them to look around, and I point out the suites that we have. I think we have 60 some odd suites here, um, and I just say, guys, do you really understand where we're standing? I said the world's greatest leaders have been in this stadium to watch their athletes run. The world's greatest athletes, some that have done things that will never be broken, that
Yeah.
have set world records, Olympic records that will never be broken. I said, you get to build on, I guess, the legacy of the stadium, the history of it. And then you got the Olympics, you got the Atlanta Braves. I mean, think about those guys in here, the
Yeah.
Atlanta
Some of
Braves.
the greats that's ever.
I came here and watched Mark McGuire, when he was hitting the home runs. And I mean, just think about those guys, Greg Maddox, all those
Muhammad
guys.
Ali
Oh,
lit the
I mean,
torch.
yeah, Muhammad Ali lighting the torch. Uh, Muhammad Ali actually fought on our campus. So I talked to him. I was like, where else are you going to go that has so much history and so much more history to be made other than this place right here? Was Turner Field, was Olympic Stadium, Centennial Olympic Stadium, now a Center Park Stadium. I said, it's amazing to think. And actually, I came to the Olympics in 1996. I came and sat here in the stadium. I
I did
came and
too.
sat here, watched the Braves. I watched the Olympics, and here I am coaching the Georgia State Panthers. So it's
That's
awesome.
awesome. Yeah, it is. That's awesome. All right, I'm going to hit you with this one. I just want to go ahead and let you know this question may or may not have also come from one of your staff members.
I'm sure it
Okay,
has. Yeah.
so I have, again, don't shoot the messenger. I have no idea where this is going. Okay,
Okay.
but they said it was going to be funny. All right. When the pregame clock hits 9 minutes and it's time for you to give your players the pregame speech,
Yeah.
what's the scene like?
Chaos.
That's it.
Chaos. I mean, I'm just like a player. I sit in my office. I don't even talk to the head coach before the game. I just don't like it. I'm serious. I mean,
Just you're that competitive. You're like a player. You're getting your game face on.
Oh, I'm getting worse than that. I mean, there's violence. So I come in my office and I have, I've got a game day playlist, and let me tell you, it ain't for the faint of heart. I mean, it's.
All right. What's the one that do you have one that just gets your blood going? Like you have a song that just gets your blood going every time you hear it.
Ooh. There's a few. There's a few. I mean, I over the course of my high school career, over the course of college, I mean, I've got some songs that just really take me to the doggone edge. I mean, I told our players last week, I was like, I told them we're going out and we're fixing to put pads on and stuff. I said, you got to let those animals dance in that head. And so those animals start dancing. They start dancing in my head. And about that 9-minute mark, I hit that locker room door, and
it's on.
You don't know who I'm grabbing first. Typically, they're waiting.
They're ready for it by now.
They're waiting. They're waiting on me to come in, and I'm waiting on them to come at me. And sometimes it gets a little physical. Sometimes it's just.
Hey, don't you know the veterans were grabbing the freshmen the first game and said, look, coach is coming in here. It's all right. This is fun. They're probably you tell the players, you always have that first plane trip. Somebody's never been on a plane before. So you have to have that conversation with them. One of them.
It is. But I hit that door. I kick that damn thing open, and they can look. If you were to see my eyes, they'd probably say, this man right here, there's something seriously wrong.
Something seriously ready to go.
Like I said, them animals dancing.
I got a weird song that gets me, that's on my list, that has got me going, and I don't know why, but Sabotage by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I don't remember really. I didn't really listen to it a ton, except when I was getting juiced, and then I don't know what it is, but that song just gets me. I'm ready to go. I mean, it gets me right. So that's always been my song. So
I love it.
That's the last one I listened to before showtime.
I got some Korn. I got some Metallica. I got some Foo Fighters. I mean, I got some other stuff. I mean, it just it gets me going. Hell, it gets me going right now if I were to play.
I know. I started playing in my head. I start getting a little jumpy. All right, let's get. I want to get at least get one serious football question out of here.
Okay.
I've been asking a lot of the coaches this too. What's your general thoughts on the transfer portal? What's your feelings on it? Yes, no, right, or indifferent? Do you care?
For me, it's, and let me just say this: it's different for everyone else. It really is. I think if you create a great environment, I think if you create a great program, I think if you trust in your team, you give them every opportunity to be successful. You treat them not equal but fairly. Then you don't have a real issue with it, because the genuine care for your players and what you do for those guys, they're not going to find that a lot of places. Now, some are a little immature to think that's
not winning the Heisman Trophy as a freshman.
Yeah. And the problem is it just gives them the opportunity to quit so easily. Now, it works two ways. You got the guy that he's a really good football player, and us at the group of 5 level here, we have to fend off the bigger guys. We get a good player, then those guys have him up on their board, and they're finding out a way to recruit him. And I'll be honest with you, I do not have a problem with any player that wants to go somewhere else that doesn't want to be here. Because if they don't want to be here,
I
don't want them here.
Yep.
I can go recruit players, but if they're hearted in it, then so be it.
I mean, I mean, that's your livelihood, your staff's livelihood, your team that are putting guys in it. You don't want people that don't want to be there for sure, because
they got to do it. They got to do it the right way. See, the problem is they don't do it the right way all the time. Yeah. Come be honest with me right from the forefront, right from the jump, and say, Coach, I'm thinking about doing this, and I don't need to hear about the tampering that goes on without him entering the portal, that the recruiting has been taking place before it's happened. And it's no different really than a coach. I mean, a coach can up and just walk out this door today for a better opportunity. And shoot, I'm an honest guy. I mean, we had a guy go to the University of South Carolina, left here, who led the nation in sacks, went to the University of South Carolina. I was really upset about it because I didn't think it went down the right way at first. And then I got to think about it. I said, hell, if the University of South Carolina calls me, I'm going to be the head coach there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I am. And be honest, you are too.
Yeah.
And every damn other coach in the country probably is, that's sitting here where
Absolutely.
We are.
Yeah.
So I don't blame him for wanting, not a better experience, but something he thinks can make him better. And maybe it can, maybe it can't, but that's for him to find out. But it also works in a way where it lets young men that probably doesn't have the most success at programs, it gives them an opportunity to get out. And to be honest with you, I don't like it. Even though they may not have produced here, it just gives them an easy way to say, coach, I'm not quitting, but I'm going in the portal, which is exactly what they're doing.
Yep.
They're quitting. And I don't like quitters.
No. The other thing, coaching is, where, you look at the amount of players that are on scholarship in the NCAA football. Okay. I can't speak for every other sport because I've never dealt with any other sport, but I know for football, how many come from a single parent home. Okay. Yeah. So a lot of times their coach or college coach is the only male influence they've ever had in their life. And so when you start having to hold people accountable and for their actions and teaching them how to become a man, you don't always do that with snow clouds, bunny rabbits, and My Little Ponies. Okay. So it gives them an easy button to hit. I don't like it. I'm gives them a quick escape. Where my frustration is with it is like, I agree. I'm with you. I think there's some parts of the portal that's great.
Yeah.
But where I get frustrated is we should have seen all these issues on the front side and done some rules and had a little bit of foresight of what was going to happen and have some rules in place and the way it's affecting high school recruiting to the fact of guys hitting the easy button when they get, but there's got to be some.
Well, here, I mean, listen, in high school, it's happening. It started happening way before college. Hey, I'm transferring to this high school.
I have a button. We have buttons inside our system. We call it the high school transfer portal, where you can swap schools, and it's insane. I remember I'm not going to blast him, but there's a young man we signed at Alabama that had gone, who's well known, like an NFL football player right now, or may not be in your city, but that played at 5 different high schools and graduated at 19 years old, and he didn't graduate. It wasn't because he was a dumb kid. He was actually very intelligent. Mm-hmm. It was because he transferred schools every year. And one of those schools he transferred from was a private school. Okay. And they got mad and they would not release his transcript to him because they charged him a bill. So he didn't have the money to get that. So he basically lost a year of high school because he transferred and they held his transcript. So
it's crazy. Hey, I'll give you another example really quickly. And these individuals are getting bad advice. They're getting really bad advice.
Yes,
so we had an individual this past season come up to us or come up to me and they actually called me and said he was going to transfer. I was like I said, hey, you don't want to be here, so what? Let him go. And then he showed up for classes for the spring.
Yeah.
I was like, hey man, transfer portal means quit. You're not on scholarship here. You don't get $1,200 a month. You don't get 3 meals a day any longer. He was like, what? I was like, yeah. You don't understand that? Who told you that you were going to be on scholarship? You told me you just quit. Transfer portal, you're in it. I said, you're out. I said, you need to think about what you're going to do now. You need to go figure it out because you got some bad advice. And I said, and I apologize. But I said, that's how I run it.
Yeah, it's just so, and you've hit the nail on the head. The people I kind of know who's advising these kids. Where I used to get frustrated was like you'd have a kid that was heavily recruited out of high school, and so he hasn't played, he hasn't developed, he hasn't played a lick for whatever myriad of reasons, right?
Yeah.
But they think as soon as they go in the portal that every single school that recruited them before is going to recruit them again, and they're not.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, well, we've created it a little bit with social media. All these guys that throw out these offers, next thing I know, I'm blessed to receive this offer. I've got 52 offers. I got this and this. I mean,
praying hands.
I'm here to tell you, and I'm all for it. But some of these guys, there's really about 4 or 5 offers they get.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, it's insane. I could have about 4 podcast episodes on that last comment you just had. It used to drive me nuts. Me and my man Matt Luke used to go insane. You'd have the number 1 player in America. He's got every offer to America, but he's going to put blessed to receive my 137th offer from Oklahoma Panhandle State. So
we were recruiting this young man, and he was going up to visit. Where was he going? Somewhere in Chicago, Illinois. And I asked him. I said, "Hey, buddy," I said, "Can you even point out Illinois on the map?" I was like, honestly, I said, "Do you know where you're going?" He's like, Nah, coach, I really can't. I was like, exactly. I said, what does it matter? You don't know anything about this school. What is it? Who cares if he offered you? I mean, you ain't going to school there.
I got a question along the lines of this. I'm going to ask you that. I'm curious. Never asked the coach this. All right, so you get the magic pixie dust, okay? The NCAA comes to you and says, Coach Elliot, you can change any NCAA rule, whatever you wanted to change. You get one rule to change. What rule would you change?
Today.
They came to you this afternoon.
Well, now that everything is transformed with the transfer portal and really the leverage has all gone to the player, then I think I would be able to take scholarships based off participation, whether they panned out or not. Because to tell you the truth, right now we have to honor scholarships, but they don't have to honor their commitment to us, the university.
That's interesting. That's an interesting take.
I would like to be able to take it, but based off their athletic performance, because a young man, you can't take it for a young man that comes in late to a meeting. You can't take it for a young man that runs for whatever reason, he lower now than he did maybe in high school, or he just has become lazy. He doesn't do the right things.
It's headed there. You may be ahead of your time. It's headed there. We're already in NFL free agency, so it's heading there. I mean, the NFL can cut you for no reason. So
yeah. Well, I've talked to our compliance director about it. I said, it's only right. I mean, if a guy can walk up and tell me he's leaving today, why can't I just walk up to him and say, hey, you have this thing has turned into strictly a business now, and we're gonna make sure we're business like.
We took a game that's been doing pretty good for like the last 125 years, and we tried to screw it up as fast as we can.
Yeah,
like I don't.
We didn't screw the game up. The game that we play is still fantastic.
Correct.
I mean, it is. I think it's without a doubt the most unselfish sport there is. I tell our team all the time, at any given moment, we only have 11 individuals out there watching. We may have 80 or 90 that stand on the sideline and cheer for our 11. I said, and that's amazing to think that we have that much unselfishness, that we can stand over there and pull for just 11 guys. And some of us just hope to get at most maybe a 30 seconds of that 60-minute game just running out on kickoff. But they are cheering and pulling, and they're working hard, and they're doing all this stuff. But only 11 can go play.
That's right. Only one ball.
It's only one ball. So I think the sport that we coach, the sport that we play, the game itself in football is the greatest game there is.
Ever. That's what bothers me is it's the greatest game. And then I still can't figure some of these rules. I can't figure out why we're doing it. I'll tell you some stuff off the air when we get done and it'll make you die. All right, let's get some funny questions before I get you out of here.
All right.
Waffle House or Huddle House?
Waffle House.
There you go. This is very disturbing. Okay, I need to complain because we're here in Oxford, and I've been promised a Waffle House for a long time now. I've been a Waffle House guy. Nothing against Huddle House, okay, but I've been a Waffle House guy for a long time, and we've been promised one here in Oxford. Still has not showed up yet, so I'm waiting on that day to come.
Hey, it's consistent. I don't care what time of the day.
It don't matter where you go, what time. It's the same.
Man, it's awesome.
Me too. I'm a fan. We used to go eat me and my wife and my kids would go eat on Friday mornings.
We played our bowl game on Christmas Day, And we stayed the night down there in Montgomery. And I told my wife, she goes, "What are we going to eat? After the game and everything." I said, "Hey, guess what's open?"
It's always open, baby. It's where it's
Always.
at. All right, so here's a critical question. All right, my
Yes.
mom's gonna be a fan of this one. Do you like just the regular Reese cups, or are you an Easter egg Reese cup guy?
I'm a bigger guy. I
Okay,
like all Reese cups.
all Reese cups.
I don't care. Hang on.
Uh oh. Coach, we got. Oh, you got. Hey, you came prepared. That I didn't know you were even a Reese cup guy, but I just figured every guy's a Reese cup guy.
Look
right?
at me. Come on.
I'm impressed. I really am impressed. Got Reese cups in the office. Gotta love it.
I got this.
All right. If you were not a football coach, okay, if you did not become a football coach, what profession would you have done?
Oh, hell, I'd probably be a drill sergeant.
There you go. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Where we going?
I'd probably be Marines. I'd probably be a.
Yeah, you. I would definitely say you're more the Marine type guy.
But hey, you know what though? I'm one of those guys. I was going to be a coach regardless. See, I went to school knowing I was going to be a coach. See, people don't really understand that. Some people go to school and they play football and they really don't want to go do anything else. And they say, "Oh, I'll coach." Hell no. I went to school. Shit. As soon as I walked in, I was like, "I'm going to be a coach." That's what I'm going to do. That. I mean,
I actually went to, I'm going to make you laugh here. I actually went to school. When I went to Auburn out of high school, I started out in mechanical engineering.
Yeah.
And so I would like to thank Dr. Mills at Auburn University, who taught Chemistry 163 my first semester, that I made my mind up after test number 1 that I no longer was going to be a mechanical engineer, because I was really confused. I thought being an engineer was about driving trains, and it wasn't. And so when I took Chemistry 163, I called my parents. I was like, "I'm done." I went straight to physical education. So I went from mechanical engineering, and we were on quarters at the time at Auburn, so I wasn't even in it long.
Yeah.
And so I went from mechanical engineering to PE real quick. So yeah, thanks, Dr. Mills. He doesn't know he impacted my life, and he doesn't even know it. So
hey, them educators, they're amazing. That's what they're there for.
All right. So, all right. Last question. I'm going to end with this one. Do you know, when you and I had somebody on your staff that listens to the podcast commented on something I said a couple of weeks ago. Do you have, and I told anybody who ever comes up with the idea of doing a full photo shoot for recruits, I said, I would like to throat punch the person who came up with that idea. And so I'm going to ask you in front of, and we have a lot of personnel people that listen to this too, and a lot of football coaches. I have gotten more text and more calls about, like, yeah, I want to know who came up with that too. We got to figure this thing out. But I'm going to ask you, Coach, do you know the guy who came up with the idea of doing full uniform photo shoots with the recruits?
Hey, I don't know if this is on record or not, but
it's about to be.
I know when I went to South Carolina, and I very well may not have been the first, but I do know when I went to the University of South Carolina, I said something to the effect, why don't they put on their shirt everything? And
Coach,
I think we did it one junior day, and all hell broke loose. It was the greatest thing ever. Now, we were there all day and all night because they were putting on stuff. They were putting on shoes, putting on, man, we had it going. So I don't want to say it was me, but
you may get some hate mail.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And then to this day, I keep telling our guys, I'm like, can they just try on the jerseys today?
Oh, see, so you going the other way, Coach. I cannot describe every single person I talk to. They're like, they're getting worse. They're not getting better. They're getting worse, especially with the new rules coming through, and they're like deregulating everything. So it's getting worse. Everybody needs a photo shoot now.
Oh yeah.
And it's, and now it's like you go recruit somebody. So now he brings his posse of 75. Now we got parents getting in uniforms.
Oh yeah.
And then and you're sitting there and you have to watch it like a hawk because they can't leave the room with it. You got SEC rules if you're in the SEC that are different than NCAA rules. Can't go out on the field. If they leave with gloves,
hey, we get
it's just a nightmare.
Some of them they'll say, "Hey, I want to be in that white jersey too. I want to be in that blue jersey too. I want to be in that white jersey too." And then some will say, "Coach, I wear size 11 cleat. You got me on a 12." I'm like, just put on that cleat, man. Just put on, please. Just
help
put
me.
on that cleat.
Help me help you. Help me help you. So
Hey,
are we going
look,
on record and saying Shawn Elliott is the reason that we're doing photo shoots all over the United States of America right now?
I don't know about that. It's not the photo shoots, but the full
Full-fledged, yeah, not this jersey. I'm talking about the full-fledged uniform.
I
Are you
don't
going
know.
to take credit for it?
Yeah, I probably can't take credit.
I wouldn't.
Hey, but I will tell them this: if they'll do this, you can buy those little small set of lacrosse pads.
Okay.
And it's very easy to throw them on, throw them off, get them out. And
Okay.
you don't have to put the shoulder pads on and all that stuff. And it's so
You
hard
must
to get.
You must have been the first one because you've already amended the rules. You've already
yes,
started
I
to find the shortcuts.
Because have you ever tried to doggone put the jersey over the shoulder
Oh,
pads?
Coach, it's unbelievable because you always, the players are bad enough, but when you
Yeah.
start getting parents, and look, parents haven't seen a weight room in like 10 years, okay? And so they don't fit. Those jerseys are small.
Oh,
and so they're like, the jerseys are so tight. I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, they are. And so this doesn't look good on me. Can we get a 4X in number one? No, number one doesn't come in 4X. It comes in medium. I mean, you can't, it's, oh, geez.
Oh yeah. So
I literally I've gotten 2 complaints from 2 different personnel guys today about photo shoots. So,
yeah.
And they're already looking because now dead period's over with and all these people are going to start coming to campus. And so they're already like dreading Saturday. I mean, Saturday is going to be a nightmare across the country with photo shoots. So
it's one of those deals that,
yeah.
Good thing I'm the head coach, and
that's right. You can tell somebody else.
Hey, I'm not going to be about what's his name down there in LSU. I'm not going to be in the old dance.
Hey, you're not going to get in there and you're not going to get with it.
Yeah, I might take the photo, but I ain't getting in the old, that type of business.
You're not going to say family anywhere.
No, probably not.
Very good. All right, I'm gonna get you out of here before we get you in trouble. But Coach, I just want to thank you for your time, man. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I could have asked you. We could have been on here forever. I think you're one of the great guys. Like I told you, I love visiting with your staff, and I think you got such fine guys there, and I love the way your guys compete. And for me, that's the kind of ball I like. And then you can't comment on this, but I also want to thank you because you did very good for my pocketbook this fall. Covering spreads. So thank you. And thank you to all the people in Vegas. Would like to say thank you on that as well. Don't say anything on that. Don't comment on that so you'll get in trouble.
Yeah, trust me.
Coach, I want to thank you so much for joining us and can't wait to see what you do this fall.
Yeah, man. Well, we're working hard. I appreciate it, man. It's awesome to talk. Sometimes I think we need to have 5 guys doing a podcast at once, kind of like a round table podcast. But
don't tell Raquel that. Raquel, she tells me, she said 2's enough.
Hey, I need her dad. I'd love to sit down with him. He probably doesn't even remember me, but I was up there at West Virginia a few times. We went up there to visit when I was at App State. So I'd love to sit around and talk some ball with that guy right there. Or just
he's not very far down the road now. He's only an hour down the road from you now.
I know, Jacksonville State. I'll make sure to keep them off the schedule. Appreciate
All right, Coach. Appreciate you.